I am Neil Larthos. I am the next Abdullah. You are the next Neville Goddard. Your SP gets wet, moist, every single time they think of you, and your bank account makes Jeff Bezos look homeless. Really quick, if you guys want to manifest an SP, manifest money, manifest the reality of your dreams, my information is in the description box below. So today I want to talk about 3D circumstances and how even if your SP is married, that is no excuse for you to believe that you cannot manifest them. Look, not only if your SP is married, but if there are blockages in the way, like money. Like I have a client right now who has been telling me that her ex says that he wants to marry her, but right now there's an issue with money, and until he can get over that struggle with his finances, he won't be able to marry her until he gets his shit together, basically. And so now the way she sees that is like, okay, well, if I just had the money, then I could win him over. Then he can be my soulmate. Then once I, go to his doorstep and say, okay, look, here is the missing Dragon Ball that you need. Okay, my good warrior, now we can finally destroy the universe together. It's like it's the missing fucking artifact that Doctor Doom needs to have in order to take over the fucking multiverse. Look, first of all, I told her straight up that if he really fucking cared about you, right, he wouldn't be making these fucking ultimatums, okay? And like I told her before, and she even agreed, there are fucking homeless couples, okay? Love is not about money, right? And I've been meaning to tell her this too, is like, if you have such a low self-concept, you're gonna be manifesting people like this either ways, where they give you bullshit excuses, or they're practically making fun of you to your face, don't even have the balls to tell you that they're not really interested, and they're just making up these excuses, right? But another thing about this chick, right, okay, is when I asked her, like, what have been the interactions with him, they actually sound great, okay? He is not ready for marriage. Okay, bummer. But he is still seeing her. He's still being affectionate. And he is still telling her that he loves her, okay? So one of the things that I think a lot of us in circumstances when we're trying to manifest an SP or manifest money is that we are so focused on it has to be this certain way. Okay? Like, for instance, I last year was thinking a lot about moving to a different apartment. And I had an apartment in mind that I really wanted. And they were located around an area that I frequent all the fucking time. Right next to the movie theater that I like to go to, right next to like 5 different restaurants that I love. It's a beautiful view. It seemed perfect, right? And even the aesthetic design that they have of the apartments themselves was very unique to other apartments that I've lived in prior. So everything about these apartments were the fucking, like, they were my dream house, basically, right? So it was understandable that it's on my radar, right? Look, I don't want to be one of those manifestation coaches to tell you that you should change your desires and make it easier so that way I can fucking say, oh, I got a success story. Not the case. But one of the things is, if the 3D is just an illusion, right, then the actual physical aspect of your desire, whether it's an apartment in the perfect location or whether it's an SP wanting to get in a committed relationship with you at the specific time that you want him to commit. There's always a desire under the desire, right? Under my client's desire of wanting him to marry her right now, I guarantee you is probably the desire that she wants to feel wanted. She wants to know that she's in a situation where, whether it's a serious committed relationship or whether it's they are already on their 5th honeymoon, she wants to be in a stable relationship with someone who will never let go. And when I looked at my apartment, I realized that really, ultimately, though it's still my dream apartment and I would like to have it, I was more talking about having it this year because I assumed that if I was going to move out from my current apartment, it has to be one where I pay the same amount of rent of this dream apartment. But when I asked myself this question, if I was to find something cheaper in the meantime, before I can actually afford to pay for this new apartment in the 3D, would I still be happy? And the answer is yes, because I have been able to wait years for things to unfold. And look, if someone was to tell you you will get your desire eventually and you will still live to be able to enjoy that desire for many, 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 many years, then what the fuck is the rush? Right? And when I started thinking that way, me and my girlfriend found a place where it's not exactly in the location of the movie theaters that we frequent or the restaurants, but she found a place nonetheless where it is not far from where we work and it is cheap as fuck and new countertops, no cockroaches. Okay? So all that to say that I'm gonna be real with you, that the thing about this fucking house is that I didn't know that they had fucking cheap houses like this. When I thought of cheap houses, you see, I had a fucking idea in my reality that in order for you to pay rent in fucking Texas that was affordable, there had to be a fucking catch. There had to be some sort of infestation. There had to be some sort of whatever, right? No, I think the only kind of downside is the location, but again, it's not in the fucking ghetto either. You get it? Like, it's very close to where I work. It's just not in the location where all the cool people hang out, I guess you could say, right? It's more of like a fucking more closer to like the countryside, I guess you could say, maybe. But either ways, the draw is the fact that it is so much cheaper, right? And so what am I getting at with all this? Well, what I'm getting at is that I was trying to tell this client that, you know, you think that you have to fucking fix his financial situation because she wants to win the lottery, because she has this idea that if she wins the lottery and she says, look, babe, we're finally going to be rich, that he's going to say, oh, this finally means I can be with the woman of my dreams, right? Even though if he already saw her as the woman of his dreams, he wouldn't be using that as a fucking bullshit excuse, right? So she actually buys that bullshit. And I've been trying to tell her, like, why not just fucking shift to the reality where the finances is not an issue, the money is not an issue. Just shift to the reality where all he cannot stop thinking about is you. Whether he's struggling paying his bills, he doesn't care because he's too busy blowing up your fucking phone. He is wondering when's the next time he can fucking have a car date with fucking ramen noodles and, you know, crackers, right? But then she starts saying, like, no, but it has to be perfect, it has to be like this. Look, like I've always said, the more you make your manifestation difficult, the more difficult it's going to be to manifest, okay? you got to really ask yourself, does it really have to happen that way? Do you really care if the finances are, I mean, because, and then she started saying, well, what, you want me to be homeless with him? No, but you don't have to fucking win the lottery. You don't have to become a fucking superstar in order to have a fucking relationship with somebody. I mean, I can't, I have yet to make $1 million, and yet I have been getting my brains fucked out like fucking crazy. Madly in love with multiple women throughout my life. And right now I am in the best relationship that I've ever been in by far. And it's all because reality, you can literally replace the word reality whenever using it in a sentence with the word you, with the word me, and say, I am this, and therefore that's what your reality will show you. I started saying that I'm God, and now everybody treats me like that. I mean, my girlfriend is literally buying me gifts randomly, bringing me coffee to work, even when she's off and she lives 30 minutes away. I'm not asking her to do these things. I didn't give her the fucking list of the love languages that I want her to meet up to. She does this all out of her heart, because I know that women don't do this unless they feel that this man is worthy. And she knows I'm worthy, because I'm God. They should be hoping that they're worthy of me, right? So don't try to manifest the middle. Don't try to manifest the circumstances, okay? Whether it's that you are dealing with a situation where your SP is married, whether you're dealing with a situation where your SP lives in an extremely far distance all across the fucking world. We have heard of people who have made long distance relationships work and have eventually moved to the other side of the world to be with that person. We have heard of men and women who've left their spouses and left their children for a passionate love affair, that their previous spouses were fucking pissed because they ruined everything, right? You got to see yourself as that person, as the mistress. You have to see yourself as the person who is the enemy of their current third person. And even, when they say 3P, that actually just stands for third party. It doesn't stand for third person. So your third party for this woman, for this client's case, is the money issue, is the bullshit excuse that he keeps saying for him not wanting to commit. You see yourself as the enemy to that. You see yourself as that shit doesn't fucking apply, because I already have him. I don't know how it's going to unfold, but I don't care, because it's already unfolded. I already know. I've already seen the movie. I already know that everything's going to work out. So I'm just sitting here on my throne and enjoying him in my imaginal acts whenever I feel horny, whenever I feel lonely, whenever I feel like I desire him a lot. Well, I can just give him to myself right now. Just like the way you gave yourself an argument on your way to work with your boss, and therefore you got into the fucking argument. Just like the way you thought you were going to get nervous when you did public speaking, and then sure enough, you made a big mistake and you got embarrassed, all because that was the way you were thinking before. Well, that's the way you got to think right now. You know that you have him. You know that he's obsessed with you. You know that he's lucky to fucking even be talking to you, because you have so many other options lined up. He better be on his best behavior, or else you're going to find somebody better. Approach it like he needs to win you over. Hopefully he is worthy to be in a committed relationship with you. You already know your worth. You're not playing by his rules. He's playing by yours. That's the mindset that you have to fucking have, okay? So what I would leave you with on this video is stop trying to manifest the look, yeah, you can manifest the circumstances to be better and say, money's not an issue, and imagine that you actually have a stable job, and maybe you're at the cafe with your friend that you both frequent all the time, and you can hear the shitty country music in the background, and you just loop a 5-second scene where your friend is going, wow, I cannot believe you got that job, man. I'm so fucking jealous. I'm so fucking jealous. I'm so fucking jealous. I'm so fucking jealous. Right? You just loop it until you impress your subconscious, and then boom, you planted the seed. Right? Or you can just simply stay in your end if really all you care about is not so much the finances being okay, but if you would be happy where money was not the thing that you guys were worrying about. You were just happy to be next to him every single night with your rings on your finger. If you really want commitment, if you really want a marriage with this person, first of all, marriage will not happen overnight. So whether you like it or not, you cannot expect for a manifestation coach to get you a marriage in fucking 5 days, because that's not the way marriage works. Marriage is something that happens over time. You wouldn't want somebody to rush into marriage, because then you would be manifesting the clingy, needy version of them. Okay? And yes, there are rare cases where people will marry real quick. But again, even if he goes from not wanting a commitment to all of a sudden being more affectionate, why do you think he's being more affectionate? Because you see, she told me that the other day he showed up to her house after I gave her these affirmations and after she worked with me, even though she still didn't feel very confident about it all. But she said that she was able to calm the negative thinking by just, being more positive, basically, right? And after she worked with me a little bit, she got that sign that he went to the house and that he was being very affectionate and said that he loved her, right? But then she started saying, but what if he, stops? What if he changes? What if he still doesn't want to commit with me? And I started saying, you see, you already are ruining it because you're shifting out. You should have just fucking said, well, yeah, of course he said I love him. He loves me. We're always fucking going out on dates and we're in the best relationship ever. Of course he's saying that. What else is fucking new, right? But instead of being surprised and, saying hopefully this holds, hopefully this lasts, it's like, what do you mean? We're already fucking married. He would never divorce me. What do you mean hopefully this lasts, right? Even though he's never even fucking proposed, right? But the fact is, if you see a sign like that, I don't agree that you should be happy for movement and happy for signs and just say, oh, look, this is a sign, it's going to work. You can just simply, from your God state, removing yourself from the mind, removing yourself from the body, and just becoming the observer, you can just look at that and say everything is unfolding perfectly, right? Just like our boy Eric says, everything is unfolding perfectly. Of course, I already saw. You can even lie and say, I already saw this scene. Yeah, I know. Just wait. You can just say, just wait. Yeah, keep watching. Almost like if you're talking to somebody else who's watching the movie and they're sharing with you one of their favorite films, and they're like, okay, but wait, it gets better. Matter of fact, say it like that. Yeah, just wait, it gets better. Okay? So look, guys, basically live in your end. Don't worry about the middle, okay? If you guys have any questions, if you wish I can go more in depth in these videos, don't worry, I'm gonna make like 7 more million of these, okay? If you want to manifest the reality of your dreams, work with me. All the information is in the description down below. But until then, I am Neil Larthos. This is all that the I'm Awareness had to say. And I know you're gonna be okay.